Erica here from In the Company of Cards. Welcome, or welcome back. I see I have many new subscribers. You're very welcome here. I'm thrilled to see so many of you are liking what I'm doing and are commenting, and I appreciate all of that. Bear in mind that the comments need to remain civil because I've discovered that on YouTube, I can act like Glinda the Good Witch in The Wizard of Oz and hit a button and poof, be gone. You have no business here. So if you are a Trumper, why are you here unless you'd like to be converted to the other side? In which case, you're more than welcome. But I'm not going to tolerate any ugliness on this channel. And I'm only talking about a couple of people, and they're not even here anymore. So. Okay. So today's video, first, shout out to Canada on their Thanksgiving. I've got lots of Canadian friends. I love Canada. I'll be going there in November to speak at a conference. It's the Kingston, Ontario Lenormand and Tarot Conference. It is sold out, but they do have Zoom availability for a few more people. So, check that out. It's Kingston, Lenormand and Tarot Conference, Kingston, Ontario. But aside from wishing my friends in Canada a happy Thanksgiving, I wanted to look at something that's going on in the news regarding Canada. So, Canada has a large Sikh Indian population. And apparently today, Canada has expelled diplomats, Indian diplomats, on the grounds that they engaged in extortion and murder um, uh, against these Sikh separatists. The Sikh separatists, these people who live in Canada, and their goal is to create a separate state in Canada for Sikhs. Um, so, of course, in response, as you can imagine, India has expelled diplomats. So, this thing has culminated into this back and forth expulsion of each other's diplomats. What's interesting is that, we are already having interesting times, are we not, in the international community? This just adds to it. And the EU and the US have particular interest in this because the US and the EU have been kind of courting India as sort of an alternative superpower to Russia. So, what will this mean on the world stage for there to be this tension between India and Canada? So I think let's look at that. And I think the card I'm going to use is the whip, because the whip can stand for, contention, ugliness, right, between parties. So I'm going to look at the whip and I'm going to charge it with the energy of the tension between Canada and India and just look to see where that will go. Okay, so we're looking for the whip. If you have not done it yet, please, I'd love you if you'd like, subscribe, share so that the channel can grow. There's our whip, and this stands for the tensions between India and Canada. And I'm putting the two cards to the left and then two cards to the right. Okay. So our line of five is the coffin, the tree, the whip, the woman, and the woman, the younger woman, and then the older woman as well. So I'm also going to pull clarifiers on this, on these cards. And then we'll talk about all of them. So, you know, interesting that Kamala Harris, if you recall, is half Indian. Her mother was Indian. And I think that is interesting here. I'm going to pull a final three like I always do. This is sort of my big spread, my big 23 card spread. All right, so let's look at the original line. We have the coffin, the tree, the whip, the young woman, and then the older woman. Interesting. Okay, so what is this line, and then what are the clarifiers? I mean, so, now if diplomats have been summoned back home or tossed back home or however it's worked, that means that there is, doors slammed between these countries. That's the coffin. I'm not talking to you, you don't talk to me. Oops. Um, this has been brewing for a while. As I mentioned, it's at least a 2 year um, uh, 2 year period of contention between the two countries, and it has culminated in this sort of slamming of doors. Here's the conversation, the argument, and then we have young woman and older woman. And I'm going to say that I think that these are both Harris. Uh, this is yin energy. It's open, it's accepting, it's inviting. And I think that her background can be helpful moving forward as internationally diplomats try to help these two countries work out their disagreement. So this would be a sign that notice I'm saying when Harris is in office, she will do what she can to help this situation. Now I've drawn clarifiers. So clarifiers on the coffin are the sun, the moon, and the heart. Uh, so this is that shutting of doors, slamming of doors on each other. And the temperature has escalated. The temperature has risen. It's gotten hot between them. Because, we're talking about identity. Obviously, the Indian government is not interested in separatist activity. But by the same token, the Sikhs also want their identity recognized and acknowledged and respected, such that they want a separate state. So each entity has its own interests. The Sikh separatists and then also the Indian government, they are wedded to what they want, and it's led to this. Okay, so the tree. Now again, I've said this has taken a while. This has happened for a while, and we have the rider, we have the ship, and we have the older man. Okay. Uh, the rider is about news coming in or messages. And messages, hmm, ah, well, one of the things uh, that one of the accusations lodged against Canada by the Indian government is they're saying that Justin Trudeau, the prime minister, is pandering. This would be Justin Trudeau, is pandering to the separatists who live in Canada, and that's what this is all about. That he's just pandering to them for purposes of his own. In other words, maybe they'll vote for me and they'll keep me in office if I take this action to show that I am on their side. Who knows? Okay, so this is the contention. We have Crossroads, the book, and the ring. This is tough because it looks like this fight, you know, one side believes one thing, one side believes the other thing, and these roads do not merge or come together at any point. How to fix this, nobody knows, and it goes around and around and around and around in a circle, as international conflicts so often do. Uh, the young woman, the cards are the cross, the child, and the garden. You know, this again is yin energy, right? Receptive, open. But that's not happening in this moment, nor will it for the foreseeable future until someone new is on the stage, whether it's someone new in Canada, whether it's someone new in the U.S. So I'm talking about Trudeau and I'm talking about Harris. We don't know, but right now, nothing will change until something new happens. Now, here's Harris. The cards are not great. We have the snake, the mountain, and the tower. So she's not going to be able to wade in there and say, listen, my mom was Indian. I have an affinity for the Indian culture and history, etc. Let me help broker this. I don't think that will be well received, is the thing. Uh, because a mountain and a snake, they're going to say, India will say, you have a vested interest, you know. Now, the vested interest, remember, is on the one hand, we are best friends with Canada. The other vested interest, though, is that the US and the EU have a stake in cultivating India as a superpower alternative to Russia. I mean, does the US want to annoy India? No. But are we best friends with Canada? Yes. So this is that proverbial between a rock and a hard place kind of thing. Uh, Now the last card is the tower, and I can mirror that with the coffin. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my mail, but I don't want to stop the video and do that. Uh, uh, this is not good. Coffin mirroring the tower. This is something it looks like these two nations will have to figure out on their own. And I don't know how much help the international community and the US per se can be. Harris's Indian heritage notwithstanding. Now, I did draw three clarifiers though. So in the short term, this thing will probably continue to escalate or at least continue to be at an impasse. But the postscript that I pulled are fish, key, and birds. And I do think eventually people will be brought together for conversations that will in the end be productive. So in the short term, it doesn't look good. In the long term, I think there will be a resolution. Uh, and I know that's really kind of sounds like a very hedging my bets kind of answer, but I did want to just put the issue out there that this is a thing, and that the world has a vested interest in these two countries, at the very least, being civil towards one another, right? I mean, you can understand the Indian perspective, which is these people are not even in India. They are separatists, Sikhs living in Canada, and they are trying to create a state in India for Sikhs. So, yeah, we have a problem with that. But, no one no one advocates here, at least, YouTube, extortion and homicide, because apparently that is what the Indian diplomatic response has been to their to this issue and to communicate their displeasure. And Canada cannot tolerate that extortion and murder on their soil. So you can see where diplomatic heads will have to come together because there are points on, as 45 would say, both sides. All right. Um, the second thing I wanted to look at today is something that I heard is happening on Wednesday, which is that Harris will be doing an interview on Fox. Now, she's gotten a lot of criticism from the legacy media, mainstream media, that she's not done enough interviews. Oh, she's done enough interviews. She's done tons of interviews, and she has reached people really where they are. It's just not been through the legacy media so much, although she did do 60 Minutes and, other thing, The View. I mean, I don't know, those are pretty mainstream, but she's going on Fox. Um, how will that go? How will the interview that Harris will give on Fox News, how will that go? I think I'm going to use Birds for that because Birds is talking and interview is talking. So we're going to look for the Birds. We're going to charge the Birds card with the energy of this Harris interview and see how it will go. Okay. So again, we cut the deck into 3. And I'm looking for the Birds, which will stand for the Harris interview on Fox television on Wednesday. Okay. So this is the interview. Okay. So the original 5 that we have here are snake, crossroads, birds, bear, and bouquet. I am going to draw clarifiers, although I already have a sense of what things are going to look like, but let me draw the clarifiers first. Someone asked me, do you draw the clarifiers? Do you shuffle each time you draw a clarifier? Yes. So what I do is I just go like that, like that, like that. Those are my first 3 clarifiers. So yeah, I kind of shuffle each time. It's not that you have to do this, it's just how I do it. And, let me remind us all that Fox has been fined and has had to make public and clear that they are not, in fact, a news organization, but are, like I am here for entertainment purposes only. So I think it's very interesting that she has sort of, I was going to say, bowed to the pressure of being on Fox, but actually, when I look at the cards, I don't think it's about a bowing to the pressure. Mhm. So I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay. So our original cards were the snake, the crossroads, the birds, the bear, and the bouquet. Okay, so let's see what we get. Snake. Well, I mean, if you are Harris and you're going to do an interview on Fox, common wisdom would have it that you're walking into a viper's den. Just saying. Crossroads, though, says this was not about coercion. This was a conscious choice on her part. This is the card for choices, crossroads. Okay. The middle card is her choice to do this interview. And I love these two. She will own it. I don't even want to say own them. She will own the interview. And the interview will have proven to be a gift to her. The snake, she will turn into a bouquet, a gift to her. So let's flesh that out and see why that might be. Okay, so we're going to look further at the snake. I drew three clarifiers for the snake. We have the mice, we have the older man, and we have the scythe. Okay. So here's our snake. And as I said, fox is a den of vipers. But she's going where angels fear to tread. Unlike 45, who is terrified to do any mainstream interviewing, who is terrified to debate her. This is the card for fear. And this is 45. She will look decisive by having gone on Fox, by having gone into what we could call the enemy camp. She will look decisive. This is the card for decision. And I can mirror the snake with the scythe. So she will cut that snake, meaning defang it, make it impotent, and make 45 look like the coward that he is. So this is like this line. Think of it as anticipatory hope. This is the hope going in. This is the intention that she's going into this interview with. That's what her motivation is. Okay, crossroads. Remember, that's the choice that she made. This is the choices. So she made the choice. We have the lily, we have the young man, and we have the moon. I love this line. Why? She weighed the odds of going into the enemy camp and chose. She is completely at peace with this decision. She will walk into that interview with this kind of energy: assertive, optimistic, powerful, because that's who she is. She chose this. I can mirror this card with the moon. She chose this option because it's an opportunity to give an audience which would not choose to hear her out, an opportunity to hear her out, to get to know her, and to come to maybe even like this kind of yang youthful energy, which is so different from that played out diaper wearing, too long tie wearing 45 energy. Just saying. Okay. So now we're in the center, and the center card, of course, is the interview itself. Clarifiers are clouds, book, and then sun. I mean, this is terrific. What a great idea for her to do this interview. So here's the interview. Clouds, a lot of Trump supporters, they watch Fox, and they have been bedazzled and befuddled and bewildered and have not seen clearly, because that's Trump's intention, is for them to not be clear-eyed. Therefore, they don't know about Harris and who she is and who she's been and what she wants to do for the country. But the interview will make it clear. The interview will make it clear. And then those who have eyes, let them see. If people want to keep their eyes closed, That's fine. I had a viewer, they're no longer with us, say, well, I think both sides are the same. That both sides are ridiculous, and I don't know why anybody would vote for Harris because she's the same as what. Okay, why are you on my page telling me that? No, here there will be people who once were lost but will be found as a result of the interview. I do think so. I think people will have, those who are willing will have an opportunity to sort of do this cost benefit analysis of each candidate. And I think that it will move the needle in a good way for Harris. Okay. What will come of this? We have the bear, the stork, the young woman, and the whip. Okay. I like this too. This is Harris being a boss, owning the interview, coming across exactly in the way that she intends to on the screen. The stork, as I said in the earlier line, this will effect positive change. This will turn some people towards her. They will see her as kinder and more gentle than 45's bombastic bullshit. Sorry, YouTube. Um, and again, it's not that she is passive, it's just that she has that feminine energy, which has been in short supply, on our national stage anyway. So I also think that she will give as good as she gets. I think she will be a very disciplined interviewee because she is. And, they may very well try to come for her, but she's prepared. And remember, too, she is peaceful about this decision to go on there. She's ready. She's ready. So now we have the fifth line. So it's the bouquet. And what clarifiers did I pull for the bouquet? We have the tree, we have the cross, and we have the mountain. Very interesting. It's not what you think. Okay. So at the top of the line, it's a bouquet. And as I said in the beginning of the reading, this interview will have been a gift that Harris gives to herself and her campaign. Okay. It will plant seeds in minds that have the inclination to be fertile and open towards what she offers. And what it will do is take all of the bad stuff that the other side has said about her, Fox and Company and 45 and all that, take all that bad stuff and block it and block it. Now, I always mirror the very first card in the line, in the spread, with the very last card. Here we have the snake and the mountain. The snake is blocked. Whatever damage Fox and ilk thought that they could do to her, she says, "Get behind me, Satan. Not here for it today." She blocks and parries, and then she thrusts. I pulled the three extra cards that I always pull, and those act as like a postscript. Is there anything else I can tell you about this? And we have the coffin, the child, and the tower. I think this interview will be transformative for the box viewing population who is willing to be transformed. Now, it won't be everybody. It won't be everybody. This means that maybe only a small contingent of them will be transformed. But those people who are willing to be free thinkers, independent, fair-minded, will be giving Harris a first look, and then maybe even a second look. And again, remember, this is juxtaposed against 45's cowardice and refusal to be interviewed in a full-throated way. He's scared. This is why he won't debate her. So to juxtapose her, Harris, going on Fox against his not willing even to have a conversation with her on a debate stage, it doesn't look good for him. So when I first heard it, I almost choked. I was brushing my teeth and I was like, she's going to go on what, Fox? But seeing the cards, I think it's a boss move. Good for her. Good for her. A final word. If there are those among you who are white women, um, don't do like Andrea, what's her name? Andrea Mitchell did today. I was listening to MSNBC and Andrea Mitchell was talking about, the Black men and the likelihood or the unlikelihood of them supporting Harris and what that means and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. I've spoken on this. I've said some things about it myself. I'm Black, just saying. I think that what my white viewers might want to do is not turn your attention towards that because, the Black voting bloc is not monolithic. And so you don't want to turn your attention or your psychologizing to what Black men are doing. Check your sisters. Because historically speaking, white women have been Trumpy. 48% of them, something like that, voted for Trump. Check your sisters. Let us worry about our men and check your sisters because we want to make sure that what we saw 3 months ago, that resurgence of just excitement and energy and focus and discipline, that is maintained. That we're not getting sidetracked by issues that are not for us to opine on. Let me just put it that way. Anyway, I may be a little too much for some of you, and okay. But for those of you who are here with me on this journey, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm loving this. Please leave your questions and your comments, and I will see you next time.